on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged Review, and this is my review for Black Panther, directed by Ryan Coogler. You bring Chadwick Boseman back as T'Challa, Black Panther. You meet him in Captain America Civil War, and I thought it was a very, very cool introduction. You find out that King T'Chaka, his father, gets killed in a bombing, and he becomes the new king of Wakanda, this very advanced, technologically superior city in the middle of Africa that is hidden away from the rest of the world. You have Angela Bassett plays Ramonda, his mother. Denai Guerrera plays one of his warriors in his army, Okoye, and I love Denai Guerrera. I got introduced to her in The Walking Dead, and her character there, Michonne, is just absolutely amazing. Everything about Denai, I'm always going to love. So when I saw her come in this role, I was super excited. Lupita Nyong'o, a great actress, plays Nakia. Letitia Wright plays Shuri, and that is T'Challa's sister. John Kanai plays T'Chaka, the father. Martin Freeman comes back as Everett Ross, who is a government agent who was kind of actually responsible for putting Black Panther in jail with Captain America. Winston Duke comes in as M'Baku. Michael B. Jordan, God, this guy was great. Plays Eric Killmonger, which is the main antagonist in this movie. Andy Serkis reprises his role as Ulysses Klaue, who is the creepy dude that gets his arm hacked off by Ultron and Avengers. So you've got a really good cast. Andy Serkis is actually an amazing actor too. But what I think really makes this movie for me is Michael B. Jordan. And I'll be honest, I didn't expect that. I like Michael B. Jordan. He's a great actor, no doubt, but he absolutely killed this. Owned it all the way. And him and Ryan Coogler have worked before. In Creed. They worked together there, and that was a great movie. And Fruitvale Station. If you haven't seen that yet, another great movie. Directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan. So to get to this movie, you kind of start out with the idea of what happens when you have a king coronated and you have all these people who could step up and challenge for the right of the throne. And the guy who steps up first was M'Baku. And he liked to stick to tradition, and he really felt like T'Challa and Shuri were breaking tradition. And so he challenges, and there's a big fight there where, of course, Black Panther wins. And Black Panther kind of relents and says, your people need you, give up now. And so he kind of spares his life like that. And M'Baku appreciates that later on in the movie. You see that. So this is a story of Black Panther is in Wakanda. He is being crowned king, but Eric Killmonger is left behind after his dad betrayed the Wakandans, and he was trying to sell vibranium and vibranium weapons to the rest of the world. And so he wound up getting killed, and so for the cover-up, King T'Chaka decided to leave that kid there in, I think it was in New York, but wherever, no, it was Oakland. It was Oakland, California. And so he just leaves this kid in Oakland by himself with no father. But he still has the heritage of the Wakandans. And so he goes through a bunch of military training, does Eric Killmonger, and his mission is to go back to Wakanda, challenge the Black Panther for the role and for the kingship. And that's what he does. He goes back, he actually kills Klaue, who is an enemy of Wakanda, and he brings Klaue's body back, so that was actually kind of a big death for the MCU, in my opinion. And then he says, here's your enemy, I'm challenging, I'm using my blood right to challenge T'Challa. And so there was a big fight between those two where Eric Killmonger wins, throws T'Challa off a waterfall, and so you kind of assume, he's not dead, but everybody else assumes in the movie that he's dead. And so Eric Killmonger takes over, and he has them burn this field of herbs that is kind of the substance that gives these people their superhuman power. And so he wants to be the only one left with no one to challenge him. And he's kind of eliminating any possible threat to that. Well, Nakia, I think it was Nakia, grabs one of those herbs just to keep it. And they found out that M'Baku, the guy who T'Challa spared, found the still barely alive body of T'Challa. He brings him and he packs him in snow to keep him alive. And so they give T'Challa that herb, and now he's back and he has the powers of the Black Panther. So now Killmonger and Black Panther both have these powers, and they both have these suits, these vibranium suits. And so ultimately it leads to that final battle, which it was pretty cool, man. It was definitely CGI involved. I mean, this is kind of the staple of the MCU. They have this big, crazy ass big fight at the end. And well, for DC too, for that matter. And at the end of the day, of course, Black Panther, he gets the upper hand. He stabs Killmonger in the chest. And then Killmonger, he knows he's going to die. He's talking about how he was a young kid believing in fairy tales about a city in Africa that was completely advanced like Wakanda is. And so they go to this outleak. T'Challa takes Killmonger up to this lookout, this peak that looks over all of Wakanda. And he's like, I can go in and save you. And Killmonger says, what, to put me in jail? He said, our ancestors used to jump ships because they understood that death was better than enslavement. And that was part of the reasoning of Killmonger. And really what makes this movie is that you understand the villain's reasoning behind everything. And he talks about how the Wakandans were sitting there in, pretty much a peaceful life, technologically advanced, while all their brothers and sisters, all around the world were enslaved and had to go through these amazing hardships. And so he wanted to use these vibranium weapons to kind of turn the tide. And of course, he wanted to do it in a much more violent way. But you understood the anger, you understood the resentment. And that's what made it compelling, is because Killmonger is making T'Challa question his own beliefs and his own views of what Wakanda is and should be. And should they be reaching out to the rest of the world and trying to help people elsewhere because they've isolated themselves and they've just kind of hidden away and not done anything for anybody else. And so it really makes T'Challa question his own values. And I thought that was a really, really good dynamic to the movie, the relationship between those two. There was there was obviously animosity, but there was also a mutual respect there. And I think that really played out at the end of the movie. And Marvel has really gotten good at making villains at this point. I think the last 3 movies they had, you had a really good villain, especially like Spider-Man Homecoming. I thought Michael Keaton, you understood where he was coming from. Certainly here, you understand where Killmonger's coming from, and then of course you go into Thanos. So they've gotten a lot better at making villains that you get, that they construct a purpose for. And when you have a purposeful villain that you understand, that can impact the main protagonist, the main hero, it really adds something to the story. And that's what I think they really nailed here. So Black Panther was a really, really fun movie for me. I absolutely loved it. It was not without its flaws, for sure. Some of the CGI at points did look a little bit worse than I've seen in other Marvel movies. But overall, still a very, very fun ride. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm at with it. You have a couple of amazing action sequences. The fight between Killmonger and Black Panther. There was a highway chase scene with Black Panther trying to catch Ulysses Claw. It was phenomenal. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Very, very good movie. Absolutely loved it all the way through. Definitely a fun ride. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. Kaged Nation, out.